There was a sacred drum known as the voice of the ancestors. It was said that whoever beat the drum with a pure heart would be blessed with wisdom, wealth, and protection from misfortune. But if touched by greed, the drum would curse the land, bringing famine, war, and suffering. The drum was kept in the great hut of wisdom, guarded by the village elder, Baba Tembo. He was the only one allowed to play it, and he did so only on special occasions. The villagers respected this rule except for one man, Kofi, the ambitious merchant. Kofi was the wealthiest man in the village, but his heart was restless. He wanted more gold, more land, more power. One night, he crept to the great hut, his hands trembling with desire. He lifted the drumstick and struck the sacred drum. Boom! A thunderous sound echoed across the land. The trees shivered, the river turned black, and the stars in the sky flickered. Baba Tembo awoke with a start. He rushed to the hut and found Kofi, his face pale, his hands frozen over the drum. "You fool!" Baba Tembo roared. "You have awakened forces beyond your control." Suddenly, the earth trembled, and from the darkness emerged a shadowy figure draped in tattered cloth. It was the spirit of the first drummer, Quaim the Wise, who had protected the village for centuries. His hollow eyes burned into Kofi. "You struck the drum with greed in your heart," Quaim's voice echoed. "Now, the land will suffer as you have desired wealth beyond your worth." At once, the village began to wither. The crops dried up, the livestock fell ill, and the people grew weak. Kofi, once the richest man, now found himself begging for food. His gold became worthless as famine spread. Desperate, he fell at Baba Tembo's feet. "Forgive me, elder. Tell me how to undo this curse." Baba Tembo sighed, his eyes heavy with sorrow. "There is only one way. You must give away all that you own, not for your benefit, but for the people. Only when you value them more than gold will the drum's wrath be lifted." With a heavy heart, Kofi went to every home, handing out his treasures, his cattle, his land. At first, he resisted, but as he saw the joy in the faces of the villagers, something changed within him. On the final night, as the village gathered at the great hut, Baba Tembo lifted the drumstick and handed it to Kofi. "This time," he said, "play it with a heart that is free." Kofi, now humbled, struck the drum. Boom! But this time, the sound was different. It was warm, golden, and filled the air like the first rain after a drought. The river ran clear again, the crops turned green, and the village was alive once more. The next day, Kofi sat by the great hut, no longer a merchant, but a simple man. Baba Tembo smiled at him. "True wealth, Kofi, is not in gold, but in the hearts you touch." And so, the sacred drum remained, untouched by greed ever again.